This Family Life News podcast is made possible by the support of listeners like you.
Next on the 5 o'clock report.
This is our Super Bowl.
7 a.m. on Thanksgiving morning. That storm now is into parts of the Ohio River Valley.
January 20th, game on.
I will fight you every step of the way.
This is the most important national security threat since 9/11.
The whole DEI gambit is bad PR.
Don't call me Shirley.
Now, let's go to the newsroom.
Good afternoon and welcome to the broadcast. I'm Family Life News anchor Sarah Harnish. It's a Middle East miracle. A ceasefire was just declared in Lebanon in the Middle East. Speaking through an interpreter, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says it'll hold as long as Hezbollah plays by the rules.
My dear friends, residents of the North, I am proud of you. I am proud of your perseverance, of your resilience, and I'm completely committed to your safety.
Some people in Israel have concerns about the deal.
60,000 have been out of their homes for more than a year. They've been living in hotels. They don't really like this agreement. They felt that there should have been a buffer zone in South Lebanon. That's not going to happen. They don't know how they're going to be protected if they move back home.
We are awaiting a statement from President Biden at any moment. Thanksgiving travel is on. There will be more flights today than any other day of the year. Here's the TSA.
This is our Super Bowl. It's the busiest time of the year for us.
Airports are packed but not delayed so far. Ross Gadati checked out the scene at the Pittsburgh International Airport.
Check-in has been pretty good. There were massive lines early in the morning, but it has thinned out significantly. I did talk to some people with the airlines here, and they say they expect that to increase.
This Southern Tier man who flew into the Binghamton, New York airport says he appreciates the smaller regional airports like Binghamton's because it's much easier after dealing with the large airports.
Luckily, they have this airport for flying out of Binghamton as compared to where you have to go other regional or international airports to travel. So it's kind of good in a way that they do offer this.
The highway's looking good too. There is a crash on 190, the Niagara Thruway northbound. No serious delays in New York and Pennsylvania though. 80 million of us will travel between today and Monday. That is an all-time record. With the travel, a winter storm is looming and a winter storm watch just posted by the National Weather Service. Weather watcher Rob Marciano is tracking that storm.
7 a.m. on Thanksgiving morning. That storm now is into parts of the Ohio River Valley. A little bit of snow across the northern tier. Heavy rain then pushes into the northeast. That'll create some problems not just for the parade, but for travel across the board until things clear out on Friday. Not great timing. Thursday looks to be a potent day in the northeast.
A winter storm watch just issued for the snow belts in parts of the southern tier. Kevin has more in a few minutes. A Senate panel is taking a closer look at the fees airlines charge for everything but the flight.
Things like bag fees, seat fees, boarding pass fees, all of those things that can get tacked on to the price to fly that go beyond just the ticket price.
The airlines have earned billions from those fees. Donald Trump's brand new border czar went to Texas today to start working on the border 50 days before Trump takes office. Tom Homan.
We're not waiting for January 20th. The planning starts now. January 20th, game on. So if they want to push back, but don't cross that line.
A number of Democrats already pushing back, like Kathy Hochul.
I will fight you every step of the way.
We're not going to cooperate. We're not going to ask our police force to serve as ICE agents.
I'm going to do everything that I can to protect our undocumented immigrants, the residents of our state.
Congresswoman Maria Salazar is Latina and on the House Foreign Affairs Committee. She says the Hispanic community does not agree with Democrats.
We in the Hispanic community, we do not want open borders. We want sealed border and the crossings to be made in an orderly fashion.
She says there's a new sheriff in town, and that's good news because the threat to American safety is higher than it's been in more than 20 years.
This is the most important national security threat since 9/11.
The state of Texas has purchased a 1,400-acre ranch near the border to assist with Trump's mass deportation efforts. Walmart is rolling back its DEI policy. It's removing LGBTQ-related merchandise from store shelves and ending racial quotas when it comes to hiring practices. Media critic Joe Concha.
Corporations understand that the whole DEI gambit is bad PR. Customers just want a good product. Just hire the best people, regardless of their skin color, regardless of their gender, and everything's going to be awesome.
The nation's largest retailer is one of several pulling the plug on diversity programs in light of the recent election results. Walmart said in a statement that it's willing to change its ways to better reflect its customer base. He helped make popular comedy movies such as Airplane into big hits.
Can you fly this plane and land it?
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Producer and director Jim Abrams has died at the age of 80. And if you're bringing part of the Thanksgiving dinner to someone else's house and flying to get there, beware. It's because you might call the TSA the Turkey Surveillance Agency. Here's Family Life's Greg Gillespie.
Actually, you can bring your roast turkey as a carry-on.
As God is my witness, I thought turkeys could fly.
Yes, turkey and dressing are allowed to fly with you, but the year-round rules against bringing liquids on a commercial flight apply to other Thanksgiving dinner options.
You can spill it, spread it, smear it, pump it, or pour it. That's things like cranberry sauce, gravy, any alcohol or juice, fruit preserves, or soft spreadable cheeses.
TSA spokesperson Jessica Maley says you can keep the turkey and stuffing cold, but your ice pack has to be frozen when you go through security. Greg Gillespie, Family Life News.
Still to come on the 5 o'clock report, a warning from Highway Patrol, refunds for students during COVID-19, and the nationwide IV shortage might be over. Those stories after weather with Kevin Williams.
Well, some wet roads heading out and about over the next 12 hours or so. As a front crossing the area, will be bringing you some showers. On Tuesday, another shower in the morning, then cloud cover breaking for some sun. With a gusty wind, it'll turn cooler. Temperatures may peak at or above 50 early, but ending up dropping into, if not through the 40s. Behind the front, gusty breezes and cooler air will follow, but the air will dry out, and that spells a dry day Wednesday for those traveling just ahead of Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving Day itself, though, disturbance will threaten some mixed wet snow and rain, and the cold air and lake effect will follow heading into the weekend.
Thank you, Kevin. Checking the stories, making news where you live across New York and Pennsylvania. 80 million of us are hitting the roads, including millions in New York and Pennsylvania. Driving during Thanksgiving week can be challenging enough, but Pennsylvania State Police say impaired drivers make it one of the most dangerous driving weeks of the year. Missy Schweitzer lost her son to a drunk driver.
His life was taken Thanksgiving morning 16 years ago. I never knew prior to losing Zach that Wednesday is known as Drunksgiving or Blackout Wednesday. It's one of the most dangerous evenings because a lot of people don't have to go to work the next day.
Schweitzer works with York County law enforcement as a traffic safety specialist. She tells WNEP.
My greatest motivation is to try to keep other families from having to live the nightmare that we live every single day.
Troopers investigated 979 crashes, 4 fatal, over the course of the 5-day Thanksgiving holiday week in 2023. Alcohol was a factor in 73 of those crashes. There were also 18,000 tickets issued, including 10,000 for speeding Thanksgiving last year. A Pennsylvania university is giving partial refunds to students impacted by COVID-19.
Some former Penn State University students are now entitled to partial tuition refunds after the university settled a class action lawsuit against it. The suit was filed on behalf of students who were enrolled in the spring 2020 semester, when classes were moved entirely online due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The suit argued that as part of their tuition, they were forced to pay for services that were no longer available to them. Penn State denied all allegations of wrongdoing, but agreed to pay out $17 million into a settlement fund. Each affected student will get $150, and checks will be mailed to the student's last permanent postal address on file. Brian Query, Family Life News.
New York Governor Kathy Hochul has signed Melanie's Law. It expands orders of protection in domestic abuse cases. Leah Feldman runs a domestic violence shelter in Poughkeepsie, where the law was signed yesterday.
Oftentimes, domestic violence is not physical until the very end, and sometimes until it's too late.
Melanie's Law allows courts to issue protection orders to the family members of abuse victims. Good news at hospitals in Pennsylvania. That IV shortage is easing after Hurricane Helene took out the main facility that makes saline solutions. Erie County Medical Center Senior Vice President of Nursing Charlene Ludlow tells WIVB.
We did have to put in a few, looking at other ways to hydrate people as well. But right now, those numbers are really coming down because we are starting to get deliveries and the numbers are getting closer to where we were. But again, we're still being very careful.
Last week, Baxter shipped out the first batch of IV fluid since Helene hit in late September. December. It is 50 degrees today, but our high will be 29 with a low of 19 by Sunday. Shelters are already bursting at the seams. Anna Valeria is CEO of Rochester's Open Door mission and cites a combination of factors.
A significant increase in individuals battling addiction, untreated mental illness, broken relationships, and continuous efforts by lawmakers to reduce or eliminate accountability for violent and self-destructive behavior.
Kaylin Schlonsky says they carry on the best they can.
We are seeing people dropped at our doorstep from the healthcare system and being denied shelter through other services. This doesn't stop our work. We still provide the gospel, love, and hope to the people that we serve despite the adversity.
Open Door Mission relies on monetary donations along with donated items, including winter essentials like coats, hats, gloves, boots, and socks. Next at 5, a father and son team has been spending Thanksgiving week outside, living among the homeless. Our own Mark Webster talks with Eric Jones, who's taking over that 26-year tradition from his father. Let's listen in.
Growing up, it was almost normal. It was actually funny. Week of Thanksgiving, I'd be tell my friends, "Oh yeah, my dad's sleeping on the streets with the homeless," and they look at me like I'm crazy. But it was just growing up. It was a normal thing, you know. Thanksgiving time came around, and my dad, would be going out on the streets, living under the bridge, and eating in soup kitchens. And what I loved too was growing up. Even when I was 9, 10, 11 years old, Dad would let me join along with him for like a day. And I'd walk around, I'd go into soup kitchens with my dad, and we'd talk to our friends there, and it was normal. And then once I got old enough to like really understand why he's doing it for raising awareness, but also for raising money for kids and things, I asked Dad, "Can I sleep one night, just one night? And he was like, "No, you have to wait a little older." And finally, when I was able to sleep out under the bridge with him, it was even more eye-opening and even a bigger experience. And I wasn't prepared for it, but now that years have gone by where we've done the whole week and done it alongside my dad, he's really trained us and showed us too different ways. And you learn a lot too. You learn a lot of people's stories, but it's always been normal. And I know that probably sounds crazy for people that aren't used to it, that it's normal, but it was normal in our family.
Kind of lessons you don't learn in the classroom.
Exactly.
Had to have obviously left a huge impression on you and your brother as well, to really give you a heart for the homeless.
For sure, yeah. In our church, we not only help them this week, but throughout the week, our church feeds the homeless 3 times a week with a ministry called Friends Feeding Friends. We also go out every third Saturday and give them snacks and pray for them. And we do a lot for our friends on the street. And we also have a church service every Sunday. We take a van and a truck down with groceries, and we have worship right there across from the bus station. It's really cool. We love them. We know them by name. And when we show up, they know us by name, and it's really fun.
Starting a second quarter century, can we put it that way?
Sure, yeah.
To hear the full interview, check out Mark's Hometown Heroes podcast on the FamilyLife.org website. Time next for tonight's market report, brought to you by Faithward Advisors. Wall Street is closing with new record highs at the bell. The Dow Jones Industrial Average gained 123 points to 44,860. The S&P 500 added 34 points to 6021, also a new high. And the NASDAQ rose 119 points to 19,174. Faithward Advisors is a Christian financial planning firm online at faithwardadvisors.com.
Do you know what happens to credit card debt when a loved one dies? Hi, I'm Rob West, and this is a Faith and Finance Minute. In most cases, credit card debt expires with the cardholder, but not always. That's because there are 2 ways you can use someone else's credit card. One, if you're an authorized user and haven't signed for the card, then you're not responsible for the debt. Or 2, you're a joint card holder. Then you have signed for the card and taken full responsibility for any outstanding balance. The issuer then has a legal right to collect from you and the estate. Either way, Christians should always honor their debts. Proverbs 3:27 reads, "Do not withhold good from those to whom it is due when it is in your power to do it." Get biblical answers to your financial questions in the Faith Fi community. Download Faith Fi, Faith and Finance in your app store or visit faithfi.com.
Coming up on the 5 o'clock report, 1 in 3 people at your table may not like what you're serving for Thanksgiving dinner. We crunch the numbers after weather with Kevin Williams.
All in all, weather conditions ahead of Thanksgiving shape up fairly well locally and regionally for travel. However, a disturbance from the western states still looks to bring some rain and snow to the area on Thanksgiving Day, with some light accumulations expected for some. The call for tonight: an evening shower, a late night flurry, low temps mid-20s to mid-30s, clouds and some sun on Wednesday, high temps low to mid-40s. Thanksgiving Day cloudy with some light rain and wet snow. Small accumulations expected on Thanksgiving Day over the higher elevations of the Finger Lakes, extending south and east into northeastern Pennsylvania. High temperatures Thursday, 30s and low 40s, and then the temperatures tumble and the lake snows kick in for some heading into the weekend.
Winter's here a few weeks early. Finally at 5, as you're planning the Thanksgiving meal, a new survey reveals millions of Americans don't like turkey. Family Life's Mark Webster has the lowdown.
Yeah, 35% don't like turkey. 32% pass on the stuffing. More than 30% do not want ham. 29% are sour on sweet potatoes. 28% kick cranberry sauce to the curb. But the good news, 2 in 3 people around your Thanksgiving table will like what you're serving. And there's always the pumpkin pie. Mark Webster, Family Life News.
In the Harnish house, we like London broil with a red sauce for our main course. That is the world that we live in for Tuesday, the 26th of November. I'm Sarah Harnish, and this is the 5 o'clock report on Family Life.
Thank you for listening to this Family Life News podcast. If you've been encouraged by what you've heard, please share it with others and click the subscribe button to automatically receive future episodes. Family Life is a listener-supported ministry. Podcasts like this are made possible by your financial partnership. Find out more at familylife.org.